African Safari Wildlife Park is a wild experience with over 800 exotic animals. Our drive-through safari features giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, alpacas, and even a white bison, all of which you can feed right from your vehicle. Walk on the wild side with a Zoo-It-All pass and feed kangaroos, porcupines, tortoises, and rabbits. Step into our aviary adventure and hand-feed budgies for a memorable experience. Check out our live educational shows or ride a camel. Create memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio Safari Park, African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton.
Well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of your work week. And of course, we always start off our work week with our good friend Pete Wilson here on the morning show on Main Street TV. And Pete always has a great morning news update, and that's brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you are looking for any real estate needs, questions answered, whatever, please give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll work hard for you. All right, Pete, wild weekend.
Okay, well,
Father's Day.
Always something. Well, let me tell you what, Jennifer, I know your restaurant wasn't open, but if it would have been, you would have been busy because you couldn't get into any restaurant around here if it's a sit-down restaurant on Sunday. I'll tell you, there were some dads that maybe didn't get fed.
Oh, no.
Unless they got a bologna sandwich at home. No, we were coming back from a trip looking for a late lunch, and you couldn't find a place.
Yeah, it was really busy.
It was extremely busy on Father's Day, so that's nice that
it is.
It really is. You don't take that for granted after what we've been through for the last year. That,
correct.
You can get out and be with people that you know and love and whatever, and have a nice dinner like that, and not have to be 6 feet apart.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. Well, anyway, we're going to get to the news now, and of course, by its nature, unfortunately, not that I'm a pessimistic person, but sometimes the news is not good.
You are far from pessimistic,
right.
Pete.
Well, there was unfortunately an accident at the Lake Alma State Park over the weekend that was very unfortunate.
I heard something about this.
Right. Well, the Highway Patrol did a report, so we have some reliable facts. A 5-year-old girl from Athens County who was with her parents. They were there recreating at Lake Alma State Park, which of course is in Vinton County, just a couple miles from Wellston. And she was in their vehicle, but somehow must have got out of her safety seat somehow. The parents didn't know, and she fell out of the vehicle and then was struck by another vehicle in one of the parking lots there at Lake Alma. Now, obviously, that could be really bad.
Yes.
I mean, you can just think of the potential scenarios there. But as it turned out, her injuries were not fatal, but they were serious.
Oh,
and she ended up being flown by a med-flight helicopter to Children's Hospital in Columbus. They described her injuries as serious. This happened on Saturday evening at about 6:13 p.m. Once again, we don't know any update on that, but it was classified or categorized as serious. The parents of the child are Tiara and Alan Walmsley. Their address was listed as simply Athens County. They said that somehow their little girl had gotten out of her booster seat and the rear window and fell to the ground next to the vehicle as it was in motion. So looks like they must have been leaving or something.
Oh, yeah.
The incident occurred in the upper parking lot. Witnesses provided similar information when questioned about the incident. Troopers are continuing their investigation. Obviously, some state park folks are involved in that as well.
That just sounds like a old-fashioned accident, doesn't it, Pete?
Right, it certainly was, and
little kids are curious, and
little kids and 2-ton cars don't mix.
No, they don't.
So
anyway,
that
could have been much worse, though.
Absolutely. So we hope for the best for that family from Athens County.
Yes.
Also, we were breathless when we told you about this on Friday, and that was about the shooting at Glenroy and the fact that they had named some suspects. We had just gotten the first concrete information, more detailed information from Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier. But since we talked there late on Friday, we do have pictures of those suspects, and they are a father. They are a father and son. We named them, but we didn't have their pictures there on TV last Saturday. Since then, their pictures have been in the Telegram. We have them on our website. We have them on our Facebook. and there's been, of course, a lot of people interested in this. Larry E. Farmer, he is the father of this duo. He is on the left. On the right is his son, Larry Jason Farmer. Larry E. Farmer, the dad, is listed from Middletown, and his son is listed from Jackson. And once again, if you hadn't heard about the incident on Thursday afternoon, there was an incident where there was gunfire, where these two men are accused of firing handguns in the direction of a mobile home in Glenroy on Center Street. Now, nobody was hit. The rumor mill was going, that there was a shooting, and that somebody inferred incorrectly, or it was even on social media that somebody was hit. Not the case. It certainly could have been, because, there was as many as 8 shots fired. But these two men were identified as the suspects. A lot of times the sheriff's office isn't going to name suspects simply because, you don't know for sure what happened. But in this case, they are naming the suspects because, they did flee the scene before deputies arrived, and they are considered to be armed and dangerous. If anybody sees them, don't say, don't walk up and say, you ought to go to the sheriff's office.
Give me your gun.
Don't do anything like that,
No.
because they don't want to go, all right? And they've already shown, according to the initial reports, that, they will use a gun to not only defend themselves, but to make sure that they don't have to go into custody or anything. But they, if you have any information, or you think you might have even seen them, and once again, here are their pictures, you can call the sheriff's office at 740-286-6464. I talked to Sheriff Ted Frazier just 10 minutes before we went on the air. No new update on that case. So they are certainly hoping that the public can help, because 5,000 eyes are better than 100 eyes.
Right. Hey, let me ask you this: was this an isolated case? Was it random? Do they know? Was it a family matter? Was it?
That's information that I'm sure the sheriff's office knows, but they have not.
They haven't released.
They have not released that, but it was isolated in the sense that it was only at that trailer. It wasn't anywhere else. There wasn't some other incident that led to this, etc.
They're not out on a shooting spree somewhere.
No,
we're not thinking.
No, there must have been something involving that particular residence or persons at that residence that was involved in that led to this shooting.
Right.
Anyway, we do know that there was no shots fired back at the farmers, according to what we know so far. All right, well, on Friday evening, it was a big time at the Tri-City Theater, Jennifer, our own Tri-City Theater. And, of course, it was the movie Holler was shown. And, of course, it started the week before. But the big thing on Friday was that Nicole Riegel herself, our 2003 graduate of Jackson High School, who was the writer, director of that movie, she was here. And there she is right in the middle. That's Nicole there in the blue shirt. And she is surrounded by some of the folks from the Tri-City Theater and from, of course, Total Media. There on the far left, and we're going to talk to him. You're going to talk to him here in just a little bit.
Yes, you're right.
Is our own Trevor Bailey. He is a Telegram intern, has done a great job here in the short time that he's been part of our Telegram team. And he got to be the moderator for the Q&A. That's what they called it, a Q&A before 2 showings of the Holler. You had the opportunity not only to go to the movie, but you had a chance to hear Nicole answer all sorts of questions about the movie, how it came to be, how she felt about it, her own experiences, and so forth. Trevor's going to talk about that here after I leave this seat, and then he's going to have, I know he's going to work on a major article for our Wednesday paper as well. But, a lot of folks have seen Holler and have been impressed by it.
Yes.
I saw the movie, and here's what I thought. I've lived here a long time. I've seen all sides of Jackson, and it's just like any other place. There's multiple layers.
Sure.
But I will say this about the movie. It depicted a side of Jackson that in Jackson County in Appalachia that maybe some of us don't know a whole lot about.
That we live in blissful ignorance
about. But
yes.
it's there. And that was a lesson for some of the locals as well.
Yeah.
I thought that the movie was extremely well acted. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was well written. I thought there was a nice message there. But the thing that I always come away with, it's just like when we had Jake Callahan on here.
Mhm.
Whenever local kids, local young people, they grow up and they go away and do great things.
That's right.
That is such a great example for our kids that are coming through our schools, through high school,
Yes.
even in college, to know that they can do it. If Nicole Riegel can do it, she felt like she was an overlooked child
Mhm.
in high school and like that. Didn't feel like she got all the support that she should have gotten at sometimes.
Mhm.
She wasn't, a high profile person in the school yearbook and in the newspaper and all like that. But she was determined, and through her hard work, through the disciplines she learned in the military when she did that, and then
Yep.
her desire and drive to do what her dream was, to be involved in screenwriting and maybe directing. She went to UCLA, which is not easy to do. She
No.
went to UCLA and she has made her dream come true. And we've all heard of Siskel and Ebert, right?
Yes.
Roger Ebert is still doing reviews, and he gave her a glowing review. And believe me, he will.
Wow.
He will.
Oh, he'll hammer you.
Oh,
if
he will
does
hammer
like
you. But Nicole Riegel is on his radar, and he
Very
is one of the
good.
top movie reviews. I just happened to see that when I was surfing around to see what some of the comments are about Holler. A lot of the comments on social media from people who saw it, they were very impressed as well.
And that is exactly right. And thank goodness I got to spend some time with Nicole over the weekend and talk with her for, I don't know, probably half hour, 45 minutes. And it's just, gosh, she's so sweet and nice. And even just in talking to her about a few things about the movie that I didn't know, and some of the ways she cast the characters and whatever, oh, it's a hoot. And I don't know how far she got into detail at the Q&A session, but and I'm sure Trevor will talk some about that, but we were cracking up. But she is just such a good kid, and we're just so proud of her.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would say she's not done. We know that she's already working on another one.
She is. She told me a little bit about that. She said it will be a little bit less dark. It will be a little more of a happy film.
Mm-hmm.
So she was excited about that too.
All right. Well, another good story that we need to tell you that we haven't told you about yet, and this involves Vinton County, Jennifer. 3 or 4 years ago, there was a lot of hype about a solar plant perhaps being built in Vinton County. A company named Invenergy out of Chicago. Of course,
Okay.
solar plants, you're hearing a lot more about them in the last several years as an alternative form of energy. Some people think they should become a main form of energy.
Mhm.
All right. There was a company named Invenergy that had plans to build a solar plant in Vinton County. And then we didn't hear much about it for a
Just
year,
kinda
for a
disappeared.
year or two. It's not like it was ever, it ever got canceled. But when it was supposed to have been built or when it was projected to be built, they had all the approvals locally. There was going to be a form of revenue come to the governments in Vinton County as a result of the plant being there. Not quite what you would call property taxes, but kind of like a form of revenue that they would get that would help, the local governmental units like the schools, the county governments, et cetera. It was going to be a good windfall.
Mhm.
In addition to creating construction jobs when they did it, and certainly some permanent jobs as well. Well, it was in the news again last week because the state of Ohio is going to give them some tax credits that will help them move forward.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it's solely because of the state action, but the solar plant now, Invenergy, according to Vinton County Commissioner Mark Fountain, this is a story we'll have in our Wednesday paper, they are ready to move forward. He thinks that something could happen construction-wise as early as the fall. And Invenergy,
Cool.
for a while, for whatever reason, maybe it's a national thing, maybe it's a business thing, they were having trouble selling their solar power. They don't want to build this plant until they know that, they've got buyers for their solar power. And I don't know who these buyers are. I don't know whether they're big buyers, residential buyers, commercial buyers, local buyers, whatever. I have a feeling that it's much more than just Vinton County.
I would say
But anyway,
so.
this would be one of the largest solar plants in the country if they build it. And so the good news for Vinton County is no matter how you feel about energy and the forms of energy, this would be an incentive for Vinton County to host it because of all the money that would come in that the solar plant company Invenergy would pay for the right to have that plant in Benton County. So the latest news is that it appears it is going to happen, and it could happen as early as October, according to a person who ought to know, and that's
Nice.
Benton County Commissioner Mark Fout. We will have the full details of that story in our Wednesday paper. Of course, tonight we need to remind you, of course, the Jackson City Council will meet in special session. We've talked about it here for good reason, because we're involved.
Yeah, we are.
That is the new contract between the city and Jackson County Broadcasting Incorporated. That's under our umbrella of Total Media. That would allow us to continue to operate for however long the term is. The proposed term is another 5 years. We're also proposing that we continue to pay the nominal $1. This is what it's been in the past. In past discussions, council has suggested a shorter term and that we pay $1,000. And so, this has come out at meetings. A lot of talk has come out at the meetings about the contract and how it works and how a local origination channel works and all like that. There's been a lot of discussion. We had a detailed article in our Saturday paper about the discussion at the last council meeting. And, you were there, went around, touched a lot of bases.
Sure.
The bottom line was that they decided to call a special meeting for the 21st, that is tonight, because that is just 3 days before our contract would expire on the 24th.
Yes.
So we do appreciate certainly council doing that so they can make a decision, whatever it is, in advance of when, as we've been saying, we would go dark, because if we don't have a legal contract with the city,
Correct.
even though we're here, all of our cameras are still here, we're all here.
Yep.
We would be here, glad, smiling and whatever on the 24th or the 25th. Yep. We need to have that contract, because that is a very important legality, obviously.
If not, we'd be breaching the contract and cancellation of it and all of that. So.
Right, and this is the third and final reading of a resolution regarding that contract. So we'll see what happens at that meeting tonight. But that will be 7 p.m. at the Jackson City Council chambers on Portsmouth Street, right next to the police station in the same building. And that is a single issue meaning that there will be no other council business. Our next regular meeting will be next Monday.
Also, if you have opinion, or if you'd like to speak, if you'd like to put your input into the meeting, you're more than welcome to come, and you can sign up to speak when you walk in the door. As far as I think you can, and if you have something to say about it, please show up tonight.
Right. I think what you have to do if you're going to speak, you need to contact council in advance to get yourself on the agenda. But they also have another option where you can speak at the end of the meeting by just coming that time. Okay. The disadvantage is that you'll be speaking maybe after action is taken, unless, they make an exception or whatever. And, they're pretty friendly. They don't try to cut off input.
Yeah, I think if, someone were there, especially knowing that the entire meeting is about this subject, if people showed up, I think they would probably allow them
Right.
to
Well, sometimes when there's something
speak.
relevant that may come up in a discussion and somebody's in the audience who may have some information.
Which happened the last
right,
meeting.
that is important. They'll see your hand or whatever, and, for the good of everybody, so all the information gets out there, they will usually recognize that person for a quick comment.
Yep.
It isn't one of those things where you have to speak for 10 minutes and have a prepared text or whatever.
Right.
But you can also do it that way as well. But anyway, moving on, a little bit later this week, Jennifer will have one of the state's highest ranking politicians here, and that would be Lieutenant Governor John Husted. He will be speaking at the Jackson County Republican Party Lincoln Day Dinner. That'll be on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. at the Family Life Center at the Christ United Methodist Church here in Jackson. You can still get tickets. They can be purchased or calling. They can be purchased by calling or texting this number. Listen up if you're interested. 740-577-5729. That is 740-577-5729. And the Lincoln Day Dinner is usually the big coming out party for the Republican Party.
Okay.
And it can be different times of the year. It didn't happen last year because of COVID.
Right.
And
what did?
Right. And so it will be this Thursday at the Family Life Center. All right, up MacArthur Way, we go up to another Benton County story. And, one of the nice things that's going on in Benton County is, and you know about this story, and that is the Campbell's Market, the grocery store that opened there several years ago. We heard that phrase over and over again, food desert, food desert.
Yes.
which is a little dramatic. But what that means is there just isn't
There wasn't a grocery store
there isn't
there.
a grocery store
Yeah.
there. I mean, things that most of us take for granted.
Sure.
Several places to go here in Jackson, major grocery stores. Well, here in Vinton County, after the Super Value store closed, there wasn't any. Well, fast forward, Campbell's Market has been a big success in Vinton County.
Sure.
It not only was badly needed, but they have done a great job up there. They truly have. It's well respected. A family operation. They have a number of stores in southeastern Ohio. Well, a very sad thing happened several weeks ago. The manager there, Gary Saunders, passed away very unexpectedly at the young age of 55 from a heart attack.
Yes.
Well, they have named a new man to take his place. And that will be a story that we'll have in the Telegram this week. And there he is. You can see him on the television screen right now. His name is Joe Goodman. He has been the stock manager there for a number of from the very beginning there at Campbell's Market. He has experience both at very big stores in Florida and at smaller stores here in Ohio. And the family, Beth Campbell, she is a co-owner of the chain of Campbell Market stores, the grocery stores. She's very confident that he will step in and continue to provide a professional run, clean grocery store that serves the community's needs while still having that hometown feel and a company that supports the community in many other ways other than just in the business that they're in.
Very good.
So we welcome Joe Goodman, and our man Red Thompson was up there, interviewed him, so we'll have that story in this week's paper. We want to remind everybody that between two agencies here in the local area, there is no reason for a child not to have a good free lunch.
Okay.
And this is whether the child or the family is in need, or whether it's just a convenience thing, or it's a nutritional thing.
Right.
And we're talking about the COAD RSVP summer food program that Susan Rogers is over. She's right here in Jackson. They serve meals in 8 counties. And Trevor Bailey, who we're going to hear from in just a few minutes, one of the many stories he's done, he went out and interviewed Susan and went out to Westview School where they have a kind of a distribution center out there. Look at all that. That is, I think, one day's worth of food that they have stacked up there. People come up there to pick up their food. They take food out to distribution sites, or I guess what they call lunch sites, you might say. We don't have a list of where they are, but there are multiple around all over the place. You can call the RSVP office at 286-4918. They may have some things listed on their Facebook on where you can go to get a meal. You can also pick up a meal there as well. They've increased their services as far as delivery and pickup, as well as having these feeding sites. Last year, they didn't do any feeding sites at all because of why.
Yeah.
COVID.
Right.
So also, in addition to what COAD RSVP does in 8 counties, but especially here in the Jackson area, TLC Ministries, which is near Wellston, that's Terry Witt and the excellent work that she does.
Yes.
Their office is just about where Glenroy is, near Glenroy, between Wellston and Colton. They have a number of sites where they go around and deliver meals in the Wellston area, also some in Oak Hill and Rio Grande. We've got a list of when you can go and get, where you can go to these places where they come around every day or most every day of the week, and they drop off meals. And you can take them home from there. You may be able to eat them there as well. But once again, the number of meals that they are serving and filling this gap when the schools aren't operating. And world is not like it was when we were kids. I know you're more of a kid than I am, but I tell you what, with the way families are, and you have single family households, you have double workers, you have some moms and dads holding down more than one job. Childcare and feeding the kid during the day is a problem.
It is.
It isn't just an income thing. It's a facility problem. It's a convenience problem, and they don't want to leave their kids alone either. And so this is a place that they can go. At many places, some apartment complexes where there are a lot of kids already, where they can get this meal every day. So that's something that the Ohio Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has really stepped up and supported here in recent years, and certainly here in Jackson and Vinton counties. Well, we want to tip our hat to Seth Daniels. He is the Sportsmanship Winner of the Month.
Yay,
Uh,
Seth. He's my neighbor.
We sent our editorial assistant, Alex Shope, out to hear about that. And there is Seth right there. Seth is on the right, and on the left is Davy Akers. And the reason that we pictured those two together is they were on the racetrack at the same time a couple weekends ago out at Jackson County Speedway. And because of the way the races were going that night, they had to put a couple of the different racing categories together in the same race. Well, the type of category that Seth was in gave that his category had a big advantage over the other advantage with the type of vehicle that it was. If you were driving something that Seth had, you weren't likely to beat something that Seth was driving, although Seth has had a great record of winning out at Jackson County Speedway, one of the best, as a matter of fact. Well, Seth won, and he won $470. And you know what he did? He gave all $470 to Mr. Akers there.
Oh, that's cool.
To Davy Akers. He felt that Davy was at a big disadvantage. He was the top in his class, which really couldn't match up with the type of vehicles that were in Seth's class. And Seth, he didn't know Davy, and I don't know that Davy has any income problem or anything like that. He just felt like that if it was just Davy's class, he would have won on his own. And so he gave him that $470. How many people would do that?
Not very many.
So congratulations to Seth Daniels, and we can understand.
Yay,
and you know what? He is smiling just as broadly as Davy Akers was. That tells you something right there.
Yep.
All right, some smaller stuff to tell you about the Sideliners Club, which does a great job supporting the Jackson High School football program. They were going to do a poker run motorcycle ride last Saturday. Well, on Friday, they looked at the weather and said, this isn't a great day for a motorcycle run. You had those line of thunderstorms that were supposed to hit all day long. And so they made a decision to postpone it till next Saturday.
Okay.
So if you thought about entering that because you like to ride or you wanted to support the football program, just roll forward to this Saturday, June the 26th. It's not too late. Bikes will leave at noon out there at the Stockroom 601 parking lot at 601 East Main Street in Jackson. Remember, all of the proceeds will go. The Sideliners Club is completely a donation type organization or nonprofit donation organization, all volunteer. All the money will go to support the Jackson High School football program. And Coach Andy Hall would be the first to tell you, he deserves a lot of credit. The kids deserve a lot of credit for all the success that the Ironmen have had over the years. But there's a reason why the program's been successful. It's this grassroots support that they get from the community
and the parents and all of that.
Right,
yes.
and this is true. I know the schools are a big business, but there's really not a lot of money rolling into the athletic department. Whether you want to believe it or not,
yes, they
have enough and have the extras because of these private support groups. Almost every sport has a support group now, and they have to find a way to after the basics, and sometimes they even help with the basics to fund the program.
That's right, and it's all about the best of the kids.
Right, exactly. All right, well, the Welsh American Heritage Museum has announced that they're going to have a historical marker. We've seen the historical markers around Jackson County. We have some of them right here in downtown Jackson.
Yeah.
They're very, very, very nice.
Very pretty, yes.
Very nice. There's one not too far from your restaurant there. Very handsome markers. Well, there's going to be a new one, and it's going to be here in Jackson County at the Evans Cemetery, which is near Oak Hill, kind of towards Rio Grande. You go that direction. That ceremony for the dedication of that historical marker is going to be at noon on July the 3rd. That's, of course, the day for the 4th of July. That will be on a Saturday. The public is welcome to come, and that marker will commemorate the Welsh settlers that came to this area.
Okay.
And, if you've lived here a while, you've probably heard about that. But in 1818, the Welsh arrived in this area. They got off the boat at Gallipolis, and some of them decided to come this way. They saw our hills. They thought it reminded them of Wales.
Their country, right?
Later on, they found some coal, and of course, the Welsh have a reputation for being hard workers. And a lot of the folks that we have, we have the Joneses, the Joneses, the Jenkinses, Jones, Jenkins, Davis. Those are all Welsh names. We think that there's lots of them, and there are lots of those all across the country, but we have a lot of them right here.
We do.
And those are all Welsh names, and there's many more. And so that cemetery is in the Cooper Hollow Wildlife Area on Mariah Road. right off US 35. The public is welcome to go to that. And if they don't want to go to the ceremony, at some point, maybe when you're out driving around or whatever on a scenic drive or driving through that area, you can see that beautiful historical marker. Not sure when they're going to put it up, but the dedication ceremony will be July the 3rd.
Take your GPS. Those roads get a little confusing out there.
All right. In Wellston, the city of Wellston has announced that there will be mosquito spraying in the city. Now, they didn't give us details exactly where it was going to be, but it could be all throughout the city.
I would say
especially
so.
in areas where they worry about the mosquitoes, the lower lying areas, where people live and walk and
Also,
recreate.
maybe the ball fields and stuff like that. I would guess.
I would think those areas. But the Ohio Pest Control will be doing that this Thursday from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. If there is inclement weather, the spraying will be done the following Thursday on July the 1st during the same hours. They do put out a little bit of a warning. Anyone with respiratory problems should consider closing their windows and shutting off any window unit air conditioning until the fog has dissipated. So if you notice in the area them doing the spraying, or you notice the fog from the spray, and particularly if you have respiratory problems, you want to make sure that you don't breathe that. You shut your windows and you don't run your window air conditioner.
That's right.
Once again, a final reminder that hydrant flushing is beginning in the city of Jackson today. They're starting on the south end of town, south of South Street. They'll work their way across the city from south to north. Remember, when they're doing this hydrant flushing, even though it's a very important maintenance project, flushing out those water lines, there probably will be some discolored water come through your faucet. So, if you're, and this will take place over a 3-week period. And so you just kind of want to pay attention at where you live. But in the 3-week period, starting today, going from south to north, there's going to be this hydrant flushing. So you see them working in the area. It's going to be the city water department, I presume. Be careful, because that means that you could have discolored water. The water is safe to use, but you should let it run until it clears up. If it's in your area. It'll be very temporary.
The big thing is don't wash your whites in it.
No, that's
Might
right.
end up a little dingy.
That's a good excuse to put off the washing.
There you go. Don't do your laundry.
All right, yeah, wait till later in the evening or something. So there you are, Jennifer. I'm going to hand over my chair to our own Trevor Bailey, and he's going to talk about Nicole Riegel and her big appearance at Holler, which was a big success.
That's right. Thanks, Pete.
All right, thank you.
You're the best. All right, Pete's Morning News Update brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate questions, please call Nia 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working hard for you. All right, let's head on over to your weather forecast brought to you by Total Media and the Total Media Radio app, where you can download live local radio on your phone just by downloading that app at the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store if you have an Android. Weather today, looking a little on the rough side. But as you can see, if we can get through today, looking pretty nice for the next few days. We are kind of in the path, I think, of that big storm that hit the south and the east coast, and it will be headed up this way. When you looked out the weather window, was there rain out there yet?
Not just yet. No.
Not yet. Okay. Trevor says the weather window is clear so far. All right. So today, mostly cloudy. They are saying a near 100% chance of heavy rain throughout the day, with highs very warm around 86 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy, heavy rain overnight with lows around 54. Then it kind of clears out and it looks pretty good for your Tuesday. Partly cloudy with highs around 72. For Tuesday night, mostly clear, lows around 48. And then looking on to Wednesday, as you can see, some sunshine in the forecast, highs in the mid to upper 70s. So really not too bad for this time of the year. And do you all know what is significant about today? That is, but there we go. Okay. You don't know? Do you have a guess? Wild guess? Today is very significant.
I don't know. Not sure.
You've been busy doing news reporting.
Yeah, I've had my head somewhere else. Yeah.
Yes. It is the first full day of summer.
Is it really?
Yes.
It's raining today.
Yes. No, it came in like near midnight last night.
Okay.
And so today is the official first day of summer.
Wow, that's nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how's your weekend been so far?
It was good, very busy, and got to do a lot of stuff. Very busy on Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday got to spend some time with all the dads, so that was good.
Yeah. Happy belated Father's Day.
Yeah,
everyone.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, my weekend's been pretty busy too. Of course, Father's Day yesterday, and then Friday had the big moderation with Nicole Riegel, the Q&A at Tri-City. That went really well, I'd say. It was nice to actually meet her in person.
She's cool, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really
Really
cool.
sweet.
She's what people would describe as a hipster, I'd say, for sure.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
So a lot of you don't know this, but I believe, and I was talking with Nicole. She came in the restaurant to grab a bite to eat afterwards, and she said that her first job was actually at the Tri-City Theater.
Right, yeah.
So she said it was just so fun to come back to my old stomping grounds and see the theater. And she's like, I hadn't been there in quite a while, and so that was pretty neat.
Yeah, she spent a lot of time talking with some of the employees up there and hanging out in some of the offices and her stomping grounds, as she put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really excited to come back and talk to everyone. We got a lot done, got a lot of questions answered. The first Q&A, we had fewer questions than the second one. So if you went to the 8 o'clock showing, you actually got a few more questions answered than before. Yeah.
Did the audience take questions, or were they able to ask questions, or were they they sent them in and then you asked the questions?
Yeah, so they sent them in to the Gmail account. And we got a few of them from different people, including Jenna here. She got one of her questions answered.
What was your question, Jenna?
I basically just asked what her advice would be for anybody who would maybe want to direct their own movie one day.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what did she say?
I mean, she basically just said, find beauty in everything and just use your iPhone camera if you need to. Just start working.
Yeah, just do it. Just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was very kind, very inspirational, was very open about all questions asked to her. She was extremely humbled to come back to Jackson to do this sort of thing. I think, in fact, she mentioned a few times that the reason that she came back was she got sort of a call-out video sent to her from some students over in Chillicothe, and they were...
She did!
Yeah, and they were saying that, she's doing all this coverage other places, yet she hasn't come back for Jackson or Chillicothe, and she just took that as a challenge.
She told me the same thing. She said, I couldn't not come now because they straight up called me out.
Yeah. And so, according to what Josh Willett said, they had to put this all together in about 3 days or so. We worked closely with
pretty close.
Adam Cobb, who's a producer of the film, and with Nicole, of course. Pretty great time, good time.
So, what were some of the questions that were asked and some of her answers? I'm very curious as to what people were wondering about the movie.
Okay. So, for instance, they asked for asked some questions regarding the technical aspects of the film. So, for instance, the movie shot with a 16 millimeter film camera, and she used that to sort of give it the grainy kind of older feeling that a lot of movies have. If you're familiar with movies by Christian Bale or movie directors like him, they tend to use that sort of thing. And I guess it's even a dying form of film.
Well, because it's not all glitzy and glamorous and computer generated everything and whatever. I mean, this is just hardcore sprinting down the street carrying a camera, like filming stuff.
Right. And so she wanted to give it that, she wanted to add to sort of the authenticity of the film.
I thought it really worked.
I think so too. When I saw kind of like the spots on screen that come with film cameras, I thought that's what she was going for. So it was interesting to see that played out. And then, of course, another fan question, which was actually submitted by my sister, Becca. She wanted to know how she came to work with some of the sort of bigger actors in the movie. So, of course, Austin Emilio, who's in The Walking Dead,
Yes.
and Jessica Barden, who's in a Netflix series and another, I think, movie coming out soon. Apparently, Jessica, before the Netflix series and the movie, she was still an up-and-coming actress, and Nicole joked and said that by the time Holler comes out, she'll have to recast her part because she's getting to be too big of an actress.
She's getting so big, yeah.
And then Austin Emilio, surprisingly, Nicole has never watched The Walking Dead before and actually discovered Austin through skateboarding commercials, advertisements.
Oh,
yeah.
How funny.
And so the way she described it before is that she wanted them to play sort of fictionalized versions of themselves, so just a more close version of themselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see.
And the girl that played the mom, Ruth's mom, has been in a million.
Yeah.
She's been in all kind of stuff.
Yeah. She went into detail as to how they sort of casted some of the more local talents, of course. Yeah.
Did she tell the Lisa Parks story?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, I'm not going to tell it then.
Okay.
It is hilarious
how
how Lisa Parks got cast in the movie.
You can't say anything about it?
I don't know. That might just be... I'll talk to Lisa and see if it's okay. It is a funny, funny story, but if you don't know Lisa, it wouldn't be nearly as funny. But it is a funny, funny story.
But Larry Jones, who plays Tiger Boy in the movie and also has some music featured of his own, he was discovered in an Olive Garden, I believe. So they got him. And then Ben Davis Jr., they wanted to get some more... country or local music featured, so they looked him up and found him.
Yep.
I know this personally. She didn't mention this at the Q&A, but in one of my interviews with her, she mentioned the neighbor girl who's in the movie who has a baby. They discovered her, I think, at a Roosters over in Chillicothe, and that's actually her baby.
Oh,
so
cool.
She was working, and they discovered her there. So yeah, it was interesting to kind of get the you
edition. Wonder, like, is there this big casting call, or do you just, hey, you look like you would fit that character. Hey, you want to be in my movie? And I feel like that's kind of more how it happens.
Oh yeah, usually I would say, at least, she mentioned so many things. It was just very interesting to pick her brain and kind of understand the film a bit more, because even then and there, I, had mentioned before that in one of my interviews with her, I thought I knew 20 more things about the film. Well, now I know even more than that.
Right.
She has a lot to say about the film, and she's very proud of it, and and as she should be, I think.
As she should be, for sure. Did she talk anything, and I don't think this is inappropriate, but I'm curious as to how, like, much a movie costs like that to make, and like how you procure funding for something like that. Was that discussed?
Not really, no. I tried to avoid that. Not for any reason, just because I didn't know how to fit it in, really.
Yeah.
I'd say it has
How do you get started? You know what I mean? Like, how do you...
I'd say it has a lot more to do with the movie company that you're working with. Of course, they supply the funds that you need to make the movie and get it together, and then the box office revenue that you get back, you're hoping to either match or increase the amount that you spent on the movie, for sure. But yeah, I'd say that's it.
Did she tell you the story? I thought this was really unique because I was talking to her about, the opening scene is in this back alley and whatever, and I happened to pull in when they were filming it, and then the back alley is shown numerous times in the movie. And did she tell you the story about the weather that day?
Yeah, she mentioned how...
this is interesting.
How when they were going into it, they were really just hoping for some authentic winter weather, some snow, and the entire day they were just hoping they wouldn't have to digitally insert it. And then when they got there, as she put it, it was movie magic, and it started snowing just when they needed it to.
Yeah. And she said, I'm telling you, I'm from Ohio, it's going to snow. But she said the problem was it was one of those super duper duper cold days, and they had canceled all the schools and whatever. And there were some days where, you're dealing with union actors and things like that. So their union protects them. They don't want them out sliding on ice and breaking their leg or anything like that. So it was like, oh, please, dear God, this snow is coming down. Let them, act.
Yeah.
Let us film this day. And all
Right.
the actors were like, yeah, let's roll. Let's do this.
And it's very fortunate that she got to do it the exact way that she wanted to, because as she put it a few times, that was her personal favorite scene in the movie, and it was also the first scene that she thought of when coming up with the character of Ruth. So it's fortunate that she got to play it out the way she wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, digitally enhancing snow wouldn't be just as much fun as just having it work for you in Jackson,
Yeah, I certainly prefer authentic practical effects in movie. I think CGI and digitally inserted stuff, it can look a bit tacky if not done well. So it's good that she got to do it.
Yeah, it was all real.
Mm-hmm.
It was all real. She was telling me about, running down the alleys with the ice, and, you've got like stunt people trying to hold up the actors when they're running so that they don't fall down on the ice, and all of this stuff is all happening, but you don't see any of it, and it's just really kind of wild when you hear all of the stuff involved in just her running down an alley.
And
there's like 20 people around, know.
And it's funny how when they were first filming that scene, how the story was so different, because for those that don't know, Austin Emilio was in town when they were filming this.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And at the time, people thought he was filming something for Fear the Walking Dead, which is the spinoff show that he's on right now. And so the story got spread around. Oh, is he doing something for Fear the Walking Dead? Is our little town going to get featured in this show?
Right.
And then, finally everything was confirmed that Holler was coming out, and 2 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty neat though. And I, from all accounts of what I understand, he was very impressed with our little area and really enjoyed being here. I don't think he would have spent as much time here. He probably didn't have to.
Yeah. Well,
I think he enjoyed it being here.
Apparently, he was supposed to come to the Q&A. Nicole was trying to get him and one of the casting directors to come along with her, but travel issues prevented that from happening. But they submitted videos for the audience to enjoy, where they were thanking them for their hospitality. According to Nicole, if Austin had come, he would have spent just so much time just talking to people and signing autographs and all that.
Yeah, that was a bummer, because I know the game plan was for him to be here.
So
that would have been neat.
But it was still nice to get a little video from him and the casting director.
Yeah. So. Very cool. I wish I could have been there. I was so sad, but I did have to work at the restaurant all day.
That's okay.
But it was great that Nicole did stop by and see us, and I was just so happy to see her face, because it was just so good to get to tell her how proud we are of her.
Well, and for anyone else that that wasn't able to make it to the Q&As, I'll be writing an article on the subject that should be coming out in an upcoming edition of the Telegram. It'll include some photos from that night, and that one.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, there you are.
Yeah, there I am. There's proof that I actually met her. That'll be coming up in an upcoming edition of the Telegram. And if you check out our Facebook page, there are a few more photos from that night. And if you want to check out Nicole, just follow her on Instagram at NICRIEGEL at Nick Riegel. She's updating on Holler. And there's supposedly, according to her, next week there's going to be some new news about a music kind of based movie that she's doing, but she
has a new one in the works.
So just keep an eye out for that. That's all she was allowed to say. So
she told me a little further, it's way less dark and a lot more happy. And there's music involved,
right? Which is fortunate. I like musicals that have a more upbeat tone to them.
So that's so she's going from one extreme to the other, which is really cool, because it's going to show her her range.
Right, her directing chops. And she was very just genuine about her role as a director. Now, when I asked her what her favorite thing to do when making a movie is, she just flat out said everything. She loves every aspect of it. She constantly thinks about it. Whenever she wasn't working on Holler, she was thinking of other projects and what she could do. So,
it's just, again, it's just so cool to see local people doing really, really cool things, and we're so proud. And I feel like at least once a week we have some really cool report of a local kid or a local person doing something really, really neat. And just
Right.
because you're from Appalach doesn't mean that you're not talented and that you can't go
Right.
far.
Even in an upcoming article that I'm writing, I got to talk with Nick Donnelly, who's from Oak Hill. He co-wrote a song with Matt Stell. I can't remember the title of the song. I'm trying to think of it. But yeah, that'll be coming out soon. He's another local talent that obviously got to do some pretty great stuff. Very humbling to talk to him as well. Yeah.
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 So there you go. Well, we have about a few minutes left. What other news stories are you working on while you're here at Total Media? I know Pete's probably got you out on all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to cover a lot of local talents that have made it big. Like, for instance, Jules Stewart, she had a piece over at the Marquee. It was very fascinating to
Yes.
go down and look at and talk to her. Another very humbling person.
Yes, she's awesome.
Yeah, but there's a very common theme with all these people who do well for themselves artistically. They're all just very humble and down to earth, especially if they're still sort of local.
You know why? Because that's the great thing about our area is we're nice.
Yeah, I think so too.
Friendly.
Yeah, that's certainly an Appalachian trait is welcoming people,
Yes.
I'd say. And then, of course, in anticipation for Holler, I got to talk with some of the local talents featured in the movie, like Larry Dickens. He had some music featured in it. He was very kind and polite to talk to. Same with Ben Davis Jr., both great guys. And I covered them in another edition of the Telegram, if you guys want to check that out. Let's see. And the guy who helped with the race, I'm trying to think. He was on here, and I'm trying to think of what his name was. I covered that story when they won.
The Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, I covered
Jake
him.
Callahan.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jake Callahan, that's right. I got to talk to him. I covered that story, got to know him, and learned a bit more about the Indy 500, which before I knew nothing about, really.
I know. It
Yeah.
was so fascinating. I felt like I could have talked to him for like 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Just on what it is, like I changed the right rear tire.
Yeah.
Like that's my job.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I practice 24/7 to do
Yeah.
that. Like that is so cool.
Right. And
So wild.
It's very fascinating to be able to talk to people who are from here, who have made a name for themselves in some regards, especially when they're still so humble and kind as they were when they did live here. It's very
Sure.
refreshing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you're getting experience, buddy.
Lots of experience. This is certainly more than I expected to do in my internship, for sure.
Well, I think the thing is, it's an opportunity, and I know you're having a good time with it and doing a fantastic job, but you learn so much more by just doing than in any college classroom. I'm sure you'll admit that too.
Right, for sure. I have an
That's how the
upcoming
world really works.
this upcoming semester. Actually, I have a news writing and reporting class, and I'm for certain gonna already know a lot of what's going on there. Yeah.
You're like, maybe let me teach you a thing or two. Your professor's gonna hate you.
Gosh. Thankfully, it's an online course, so maybe I won't have to
I got you.
do any of that.
No, that's good, and you're doing great. And thank you for being here,
Of course.
and thank you for, your hard work.
Of course. Thanks for having me. This has been very nice to do. It's something I've always wanted to do, for sure.
Well, good. And see, now you're a TV star.
Yeah, I actually sent the clip to my family when I was on the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Very, very good.
Although my mom's still set on me being on the radio, of all things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, either way, I'm sure
Yeah.
that it will happen.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, did want to thank our friends at Mark Carmen and the gang at Carmen's Used Cars, corner of State Route 93 South and Standpipe Road. Over 60 vehicles on the lot all the time, mostly over 70 vehicles on the lot all the time. He says 60, I say 70. We can go out and count, see who wins. But no, stop out if you're looking for any kind of vehicle. Give Mark a call. Also, did want to thank our friends, the whole Zaffel family. Have you had a Hoser's Pizza lately?
Not lately, but
Well,
I've had it before.
You better get down there and get it. It's good.
I will.
Listen to what I'm telling you. I won't steer you wrong, man.
Okay, I'll try it out for sure.
All right. No, the filling station, Store Broadway and Penn and Wellston, which are convenient because they have the drive-throughs, so you can just order a pizza or food, pick it up through that. Or if you have the kids in the car, no problem. You can go through the drive-through, pick up some soda or anything that it is that you're looking for. And also Quick Stop here in Jackson, which is home of the Crispy Crunchy Chicken, which is amazing.
Very good.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to tell our viewers while you're here?
Well, I guess if you just want more information about Holler or anything else going on in Jackson or Vinton County, just check out the Telegram.
That's right.
Pete sends me out on a lot of things. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's very good. And Holler will continue to play through Thursday?
Yeah, until Thursday. Thursday's your last chance. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
To see it on the big screen.
See it on the big screen.
And I've talked with a lot of people that have watched it on their TVs and then on the big screen and have said there's no comparison whatsoever. Yeah. You need to go watch it on the big screen.
Absolutely. Nicole even said this movie was made for the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Translates way better that way.
Absolutely. I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, tomorrow we will find out what happened to 42,000 pounds of missing pistachios in California. I know that you're wondering about that. I could send you on an investigative report.
I've always wanted to go to California. I'll figure it out.
Jennifer, we just got a comment from Josh Willett that said there's a chance Holler will be staying in theaters for an additional week.
Great. Thanks, Josh, for letting us know. And we will keep you updated on that then. Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Keep us updated.
That's great.
All right. Pistachios and Holler.
All right.
There you go. Well, have a great day, everyone. Happy Monday. Don't forget, rain in the forecast all day today. If you have outside plans, maybe wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe wait.
Yeah. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.